Straight up Tennessee family, what's happening? And happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. It is time for the midweek chat. I think tonight, I think the conversation is going to get a little sticky early. I think this is going to be one of those nights that we remember. I think it's going to be one of those nights that we have a good time. We sit here, we laugh, we joke around. But you can see, man, I think tonight is also going to be fun and very key for us to kind of figure out what are going to be the three must-win games for Tennessee in 2025. I think if you look at the schedule, when some of these games is going to be more important than actually the opponent. And you're going to see what my take is, but I'm rocking with my guy C2 tonight. It's going to be a great, great night. And we're going to start the show off after the intro with a very interesting article that I think everybody has already seen, and you've already seen the podcast. I don't think I have to even explain it anymore. Let's hop into the midweek chat. It's your boy Ruck in the building, man. Y'all already know what it is. Let's lock in. Let's tap in. It's straight up Tennessee, baby. Let's go.
Tennessee's the program to keep an eye on. If you want to know which program that's not currently at the head table of college football, it's Tennessee.
Now Meshack's got to go. A fire! Fire! Wins it! Jamal Meshack wins it! He needs a strike. Burton needs a bolt. Swing and a miss! And for the first time, Rocky Top reaches the mountaintop of college baseball.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to the midweek chat. It's your boy Ruck in the building, joined by my brother, my guy, my hermano, C2. Y'all know what to do, man. It's the top of the show. I be just trying to say different stuff. You know what I mean? Whatever. Y'all know what to do. It's the top of the show. Like, comment, subscribe, and join the channel, guys. Join. You see guys like this, Tennessee Junior, my man, my brother, who is always in the Discord having a good time with us. You can be a part of that, people. All you got to do is join.
Where you get the news, too.
I'm telling you. I try to tell people last week, we literally get news sometimes minutes, sometimes hours before it hits anywhere. And I just need y'all to get it. I need y'all to hop in with us because we got a plug. I ain't going to tell you the plug, but we got a plug, okay? C2, what's up, man? It's Wednesday, bro. How's your week been?
Hey, man, it's been a good week, man. My future baby's crib just got delivered. Unfortunately, it was delivered right after I did arm day at the gym, so dragging it inside the house was extra fun.
That's always great. That's always great. New life coming. This fall is going to look a lot different. Christmas is going to look a lot different for you in 2025, man.
But I'm excited for tomorrow. I've got a pork butt in the fridge right now, brining, and some apple cider. And then I'm just going to slow cook it all day. All day.
That's a special time, bro. Shout out, man. Tomorrow's Juneteenth, which is also your boy Ruck's birthday, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Your boy turning 30. I'm hitting my 30s. I'm hitting my 30s, people, and I'm in my prime. You heard me? So, man, I am what? Okay, let me ask you. Let me ask you first. Doesn't it feel kind of good to kind of be back in like you can't compare anything to 2022, but you remember how before 2022, the football season, there just wasn't a lot of talk out of Knoxville. Like it was just kind of like, well, we know what's going on. You know, Tennessee had a great year. They still lost 6 games, lost in the Music City Bowl. You know, like it feels the same kind of eeriness And it kind of feels good to not have people talking really about anything. Like we hit our stuff in February when all the Nico stuff, February, March, and then it blew up at the end of March, but or at the beginning of April, right? Like since then, we've just kind of been here, and I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels good to be a little under the radar, and I'm glad hopefully the biggest amount of drama we're going to have all year got out of the way before the season started so the team can gel and just focus on being a team rather than who's going where and all that crap.
Yeah. You would think, like when you think about summer, right? So I found something out today just kind of about like what goes on in the summer in their off season, which is like right around now. So they have summer, kind of like summer workouts, but they're only allowed 8 hours a week with their coaches. And so that means that there's a lot of correcting, like a lot of film, probably, maybe not as much like on field work. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, but I think that there's just a lot more classroom stuff right now.
Yeah.
But fall camp starts July 30th. And so I'm kind of expecting to hear a lot of stuff coming next month. That's what I'm most excited about is next month to finally start hearing more because it almost feels wrong. Like, bruh, Tennessee literally has a football game in 73 days, and we don't know who our starting quarterback is. Like, we don't know, quote unquote, but we really don't.
Yeah. I think we all have a feeling who it's going to be, but we don't know. No.
We don't. And I don't know what to think about it. I don't know if here's what I will say. You don't bring a guy all the way back across the West Coast.
Yeah.
A guy like that for no reason. Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, and you've seen him too. You've seen that he's true to size. He's not one of those people where they add a couple inches to his height or a couple pounds to his weight to try and make it sound better, like certain basketball players we've had. But he's true to size, meaning he can take hits if he needs to. But I would assume he's also just got the arm to back it up. He's got the strength. Hopefully he's got the accuracy because I'm tired of us having quarterbacks who have the arm strength without the accuracy. I don't care how far you can throw it if you can't hit the receiver.
I would almost say that's what he has a much better accurate arm than even gunsling. Like he has the gunslinger mentality, but he's not going to throw it 70 yards in the air. You know what I mean? And I don't care because Hendon couldn't do that either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Hendon Hooker wasn't a 70, 80-yard bomb thrower.
Right. And we know that we can get receivers open before they're 70 yards downfield, and those same receivers can outrun most cornerbacks to get to the end zone. You don't need to throw a 70.
100%. That's the thing. That's what I want to get back to is those 30 to 40-yard strikes that we're just running in the end zone because there's nobody around us.
Yep.
If you think about Hyatt, like he had a lot of deep balls, but most of them were caught at 35, 40 yards, like, and then he would take it to the crib from there.
Yeah.
Or he was already in the end zone. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, even with Dante, like think about last year, like Dante would catch a 20-yard post route and just take it 60. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's what Heupel really honestly designs the routes to come to be because he wants to let the receivers make a play, right? He's going to get you open early. Like most of the time, our receivers are open so early in the route. We just haven't been accurate enough to hit them or we overthrow them like the last 2 years with Joe and Nico. Yeah. It's been weird, bro.
And at least I'll say this, at least Joe had the awareness to see they were open earlier. I feel like a lot of times Nico didn't see they were open until it was either too late and they were no longer open.
And now we're throwing it into four triple, like quadruple coverage.
Yeah. Or they were so far downfield, he felt like he had to put everything he had behind it and would end up overthrowing them.
Yeah. See, so I agree with what Tennessee Junior says here. I'm a fan of Merk Slinger, but I have a feeling after Faison gets on campus, he goes and plays somewhere else. Talking about Jake. Yeah, I don't see a world that Faison Brandon comes in and is at least not given an opportunity to start next year. I just don't see. I don't
Yeah.
see that as a world. Like, and it's no shade to Jake, and it's no shade to GMAC, but you're talking about a kid that's
Yeah.
he is like, the Nico hype was whatever. But we also knew Nico played at Warren High School with zero competition in high school. Like he was just killing people. Like Faison really might be that guy, bro. He might be that guy.
I hope so.
But I was telling Turn this today. It's like, Faison, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I ain't getting excited about him until he signs that paper.
Right. That's how I feel about every recruit, man. I'm not getting excited about nobody until they are on campus enrolled.
I need that paper signed because you can't void that, boy. I need that paper signed and faxed.
Yes.
My man Dylan Elam in the chat. What up, D? He said, I wish I had a more realistic comparison, but Faison is spitting image of Lamar Jackson to me. I would go on top of that and say maybe Lamar Jackson with the arm of like Joe Burrow. Because he's so special in the pocket. If you've not watched this film, it's insane. Tennessee Junior says it will be a good competition with GMAC and Faison, but the experience should have GMAC 1 year and then Faison era begins. He's all in, man. Yeah, I think Faison is all in because he's had so many options. I mean, he shut down his recruiting. He's not visiting anywhere, he's definitely seems all in, but y'all know how this stuff goes, bro. Y'all know, because I bet Brian Kelly thought Tristan Keys was all in too. And it looks like Josh Heupel is about to pull a highway robbery on this man.
Yeah.
247 has Tristan Keys as a crystal ball to Tennessee.
That would be so nice.
I'm just saying.
Nice.
That's what happens when you have the number 1 overall rated player in the country coming to your school, being Faison Brandon.
I think that's also what happens when you have a likable coach, because Brian Kelly's a lot of things, but
dude,
he's not a likable coach.
He's so easy to hate. He's kind of, he's so easy to hate. It kind of reminds me of this guy right here. If you guys haven't seen this, CBS
God.
Sports, every news outlet really has put this out about Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia. And what was he thinking? Let me ask that question first. What was he thinking?
He was thinking this is his last year of eligibility, so he's going to get his name in the paper as much as he possibly can.
You see the headline, Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia says that the Commodores will run the state of Tennessee. It's the new staple of college football. Did you watch the pod, Corey? I ended up watching it because I was like, I need to understand how this even came to be. It was bad. It was bad.
The wild thing to me, though, like running the state of Tennessee, like whatever, like.
Oh God, I wish I could see the chat. Apple and Spotify, it's amazing.
Sure, rivalry, like they've beaten us a couple times they shouldn't have, like whatever. Didn't happen last year. I doubt it's going to happen this year. But what's crazy to me is the subline of this article. If you'll scroll back up for a second. Pavia also has his eyes set on making a run to the college football playoff. Sir, even if you do happen to beat Tennessee, you really think Vanderbilt this year is going to be one of the top 12 teams in the nation?
I want to go to the article and read some of these quotes that he says. He says Vanderbilt's going to run Tennessee after this year. He did not mean run Tennessee Volunteers. He meant running the entire state.
Yeah.
He said Like, this is going to be the new staple of college football. It's going to happen here at Vanderbilt. And then he goes on to say the reasoning, Will Compton asked him the question, like, why do you think that? He's like, well, everyone wants to come to Tennessee because of Nashville. I said, yeah, because of Nashville. They want to get on pedal taverns and drive around and drink and be idiots. It has nothing to do with Vanderbilt football. It has nothing to do. People do come to Tennessee for Nashville, but it has nothing to do with Vanderbilt. Okay, next. Then he says, so they want to come to Nashville. And then when we have like the most money in NIL, why not come here? We literally just have to win this year, and throughout the rest of the year will take care of itself. What kind of language? What is he saying?
I think it's crazy that he thinks Vanderbilt has the most NIL money.
That's what he said, bro. I'm just telling you what he said.
Okay, buddy.
I'm just telling you what he said. He even goes on to say, I always thought that they could win against Bama. That's just how I approach the game, right? And he says they've got the guys to go do it. We've got the firepower. We've got the depth. We've got the defense, the offense. We would be selling ourselves short if I was to sit here and tell you we didn't have the faith to go win the national championship.
Look.
Faith is exactly what you need, Bishop Pavia.
Right. I am all for believing that you are going to go in and win every game, because I feel like every athlete should believe that you can win every game, right?
Yeah.
But there's that, and then there's giving Alabama all of the bulletin board material that they need to just come out and
can I remind you
destroy
something? Can I remind you of something too? See, that Alabama ain't going to Vanderbilt this year.
I know.
That's all I got to say.
Don't get me wrong. I would love for Vanderbilt to go into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama, because it's Alabama. But it ain't going to happen.
No. And for him to be so bold, I mean, I applaud him. What he said, you got to have the faith. I'm like, brother, you got some. I need some of your faith, bro, in my life. I'm a pastor, and I feel like I need some of your faith, brother. My goodness. Tennessee Junior says he thinks he thinks rev share is NIL. I thought they were smart at Vandy. Yeah, revenue sharing is not the same as NIL. Dylan says, I hope Pavia's got a great lawyer, because he's only got to get 28 more years of eligibility to break even with our record against them. Yeah. It don't matter, bro.
He says they've got the offense, but their offense is literally him.
It wasn't good. And here's the other thing. I think that he must have failed to remember that we gave them a 14 spot and they still got blew out.
Yeah.
We gave y'all 14, bro. We gave you 14. You took a kickback and then we fumble and you score. We gave you 14 with 5 minutes left, or with 5 minutes off the clock, bro, and y'all still got smacked.
And you did that against the most stagnant Heupel offense at Tennessee. Like in the history of Heupel being here, that was the worst offense we have had.
100%.
As far as like performance goes, we had players in different areas, but it wasn't clicking.
No. I just thought that was funny. I really thought it was funny that he genuinely said that because people want to come to Nashville, he assumed that means Vanderbilt.
Right.
Like, bruh, no.
The GPA requirements at Vanderbilt alone, I don't care how much money they have, you're not going to be able to get a whole lot of 5 and 4 stars to go there because of the GPA requirements alone.
Exactly. They got to be like smart. Excuse me, y'all. They got to be smart and they got to be good. That's very rare that happens, and they're elite.
Yeah.
Dylan Elam in the chat, my boy says, I guess they pulled Pavi off Broadway mid-bender to record that episode.
And the other
Probably.
thing is, even if he somehow got the 28 years of eligibility he needs, and somehow they got the offensive linemen they would need to be elite, he wouldn't be able to see over the elite offensive linemen because elite offensive linemen are too tall. He wouldn't be able to throw it over them.
I don't think I ever saw Pavia throw the ball further than 35 yards. I don't think he can.
I'm not sure saw him throw it that far, to be honest with you. But
You might be right. I just thought it was interesting, man. I feel like people nowadays, man, money is making people talk out the side of their neck. And have you been seeing this before we dive into what we think are the top 3 must wins? Have you been seeing that it seems like it may come out that there's going to only be one transfer portal window?
I hope so, man. I can't take 2 transfer portals anymore, man. It's gotten too crazy.
Bro, I just don't even have a clue. If they can switch it, it will change everything for us, bro. Because now you're going to put players in a corner. Because now they're not going to have that second opportunity to be like, I don't want to be here. Like, nah. And I hope it's the December portal. I hope that one is the one that's open.
Yeah.
Leave that one open and close the spring, because the spring is where it gets wicked, bro. That's when people who just like had a bad practice, then they can just like walk out on their team. It's super annoying. I hate that. Like they can just walk out for 4 months before the year starts. That's garbage.
Well, what's also crazy to me is you can transfer the same year you started at that school. Like as a freshman, you came in a la little I'm a Leva, going to Arkansas, never played a game, barely saw the practice field, and then he ups and leaves for UCLA, who he originally decommitted from to commit to Arkansas. Like, what are we doing?
I agree with what Dylan said right here. My only argument with the December portal is the timing. We shouldn't be recruiting transfers while getting ready for a playoff run.
I don't think it should be the core of our recruiting, but I feel like just like the NFL, you can go get a couple free agents to take you that next level. But most guys come through the draft. I think the same thing is what's going to happen in college football. Most of you guys come through recruiting, and then you add a couple key pieces here and there in the transfer portal.
Take over the show. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Well, never been taken over the show before. That's interesting. Anyway, we are going to continue with thinking about what the 3 most important wins for Tennessee, like the 3 must wins. Obviously, we would hope they win every game. It's not super likely, but I want to know what y'all think in the chat first. What 3 games would you say are the most important games this year? What are the 3 needed wins that we have to have if we're going to have the type of year we want? Looking at the schedule, just in case you don't have it in front of you, we've got Syracuse at a neutral site, East Tennessee State at home, Georgia at home, UAB at home. Then we travel to Mississippi State. We have Arkansas at home. Then we go to Tuscaloosa, at Kentucky, Oklahoma at home, New Mexico State at home. And then we go to Florida, and then we have Vanderbilt at home at the end of the year. So put in the chat which 3 of those games you think are the most important, and then I'll dive into the ones that I think are the most important. Okay, we got Dylan thinks the big 3, I'm assuming you mean Georgia, Bama, and Florida, but Oklahoma and Arkansas are the big ones. We got to win all the games we should this year. Yeah, I would agree with that. Obviously, we got to win the games that we're predicted to win. I think we also need to win all of our non-conference games. which is really just Syracuse, East Tennessee State, and UAB. Oh, and New Mexico State. The only one of those that would even be the shadow of a question, or should even be the shadow of a question, is Syracuse, but I don't see that being a big issue at all. For me, I would say, and then we'll go to Ruck. For me, I'd say the ones that I think are must wins is Georgia at home. I think it is high past time we beat Georgia, especially since we've got them in our house in week 3, hopefully before we're too beat up. Then I personally would say Arkansas. I want that revenge. I think we got to have it. Obviously, I want to win in Alabama, but I don't think that's a must win because it's in Tuscaloosa. I think, we can lose that one and we'll be all right as far as rankings and all that kind of stuff goes. But I think we absolutely need to beat Florida. I think we've got to beat them in the swamp, if for our own pride, if for nothing else.
I'm back, y'all. By the way, my bad, homies, my bad, squad. I was going to share this so that everybody could just see the schedule, just how it lines up and everything like that. The way the schedule is this year is more important to the 3 games I pick. And it's because of the way they put things that are very different than what we're used to. So your 3 were what? Georgia, Arkansas, and
Florida.
I like it. Let me hit the chat before I go through mine. Dylan says the obvious answer is the big 3, but I think OU and Arkansas are the big ones. We've got to win all the games we should this year. Tennessee Jr. says Oklahoma, Bama, and Florida. UGA would be fantastic. Dylan says if we don't beat Georgia this season, Hype won't beat Georgia in his tenure here. Wow. Here's where I'm at. I think Tennessee has the upper hand in a week 3 matchup against Georgia at home. Here's why. Georgia's 2 games that they're going to play before Tennessee is Marshall and I believe Austin P. That's bad. That's bad. And then you're going to say, well, your first SEC game in a year where, let's just call a spade a spade, Yes, Georgia added some weapons in the Branch brothers, but I didn't see anything from Gunnar Stockton last year that made me scared of Georgia's passing offense. Because once he started to play, it was not good. And so you got to beat Georgia, bro. You have to beat Georgia in week 3. Unknowns will be apparent. People will not even know who both of these teams are at all. You got to win that game. You got to find a way to win that game. I don't care if we win 3-0. You beat them.
Yeah.
The second game for me. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's why my honorable mention, my 4th was going to be Syracuse, because I think if we can come out hot, it helps us against Georgia.
For sure. Absolutely. You put something good on film and you feel good about yourselves going into that 3rd week for sure. Yep. The second game, I wanted so badly to say Arkansas, but I really think it's Oklahoma for me. And here's why. If you look at the schedule, you get Oklahoma the first week in November, and then you get a bye week before your homecoming game. The thing with Arkansas, why it doesn't scare me this year, is you get a bye week before this game, like you did last year, but you're at the crib. The game itself is not one that I'm looking over because we do have to win that game. But I think the OU game, because you got to think at that point, you're 8 games in, bro. You're 8 games in. And you still have an opportunity to turn a corner, because let's say you're 8 games in C2 and you've lost 2 games, right? Like you've lost to Georgia and you've lost to Alabama. you can't lose to Oklahoma, not at home. That's the way I'm looking at it. You see what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah,
that's one you just can't drop.
Oklahoma was definitely one I was considering too. I just think they have a harder schedule. So when it comes to like placement in the SEC, the team I think will be more likely competing against between those two is Arkansas because they have an easier schedule like we do.
Yeah. And I respect it. And I think the history, right? There's history there between Tennessee and Oklahoma before even Heupel, right? Like there's some bad blood. Like those 2 years we played them back in the Butch era were two of the best football games I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And we came up short both times, like in almost the same fashion. But you know what? I got to get TK on the show, get Todd Kelly on the show, and have, you know what? That's what we're going to do. Midweek chat of Oklahoma week. We're going to have TK on the show. And we're going to bring him on and have him talk about those OU games because he played a huge role in both of those. Couple picks in both of those games against Oklahoma. That would be lit. I'm going to text him.
That would be awesome.
And then the obvious is Florida, y'all. The issue with this Florida game is placement for me, bro. I do not like where that is at all. I don't like that it's there, and I don't like that it's the second to last game of the year. Big news right here. Tyron Evans just decommitted. He was a 4-star receiver, just decommitted live here on Straight Up Tennessee. Trying to figure out the why behind that. I knew that there was a lot of Miami talk with him, so I wonder if Miami got in his head. I wonder. What y'all thinking?
Definitely could be. I do also know, at least on some websites, he was dropped to a 3-star. But that doesn't always mean anything.
Very true. Well, that must mean that Mr. Keys is asking for the keys.
Could be.
I don't know, dog. But obviously it's Florida, man. I don't like where it is. I don't like where it's placed. And you're going to be playing a team that is either one of two things at this time in the year. They're either just going to be completely annihilated because they just don't have depth like they've had in the past before Billy. That's one, which means that Tennessee should win that game. But then the second way is they've just gotten better every single week, and Lagway's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Which could also very well happen. I hope it's the first one. I hope they're beat to death by the time they play us there. I hope they're not clicking at all. But who knows? It's a nervous game for me, though. I don't like it. I'm very nervous about it. I just don't like placement, dude. Where that game is dangerous for us, for sure, because it could be the playoff in or out game.
It definitely could be. I think where that game is for Florida is also dangerous, though, because that leading up to that game with no bye week, they have Georgia, then at Kentucky, and we know for whatever reason they struggle with Kentucky. I don't get it because they're not good. Then they are at Ole Miss. Then they have us at home, and then Florida State at home. So they have like an onslaught before we get there, and then they've got Florida State the week after us, which I don't think normally happens. I think we normally play Florida a little bit earlier in the year.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be, one, they're going to be tired, and two, they're going to have to decide who they hate more, us or Florida State. And I think
good luck.
That could work out for us.
Yeah, it sure should work out. But I'm excited for this season because there's a lot of unknowns with the roster. Offensively, there's a lot of unknowns. Like there's a lot of hope, but there's a lot of unknowns. I think in the receiving core, you know who your three guys are, right? But who's that fourth? You know, you got Mike and Chris and Braylon Staley. But like, who steps up to be that fourth? Who's that fourth to fifth option in that realm? I know Mike Matthews is poised for a big year, but like I said on Sunday, man, I really think Braylon Staley is going to be the name that people start talking about. I'm telling you. The last 4-star recruit we got from South Carolina, his name was Jalen Hyatt.
All I want is for during that Georgia game, one of our wide receivers or a combination, it could be, multiple. But I would love for one of them to have a Jalen Hyatt versus Alabama game.
Turn me up.
It just clicks and they just run all over that secondary, scoring touchdown after touchdown.
It would be a beautiful sight, bro. It would be a beautiful sight. But as y'all know, man, it's Wednesday. We'll be back on Sunday evening live and ready. Unless anything changes, Sunday should still be great for this week. I know we'll 100% be back next Wednesday. I'll keep everybody updated on Sunday. I'll make sure Sale throws a post out, but we should be live like we do Sundays at 7, Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern. And so next week, another fun week of shows. We're going to start throwing in some more Tennessee fantasy football things. Like last year, Sel and I did, from 2000s to the 2020s, best offensive roster. And we did a fantasy draft. And so it was like super fun. So we're going to throw some of those in this year, but it's going to get even more wicked and more fun, very more year specific fantasy football draft. So that's going to be fun. Just trying to fill the time, man, until we get to fall camp and we really have a lot to talk about because reports will be out. Who's looking good? Offensive, defense. Is Joey Aguilar standing out? Is Jake standing out? Who does Heupel think's going to step up and be RB1 in the running back room, wide receiver room? Like, that's what I can't wait for. But until then, we're just going to have some fun on here, y'all. So we can't wait to be back live on Sunday night. Y'all know what to do, though, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and join. And until Sunday, man, C2, you got anything else to let the folks know, brother?
Just that Vanderbilt has to play at South Carolina, at Alabama, gets LSU at home, at Texas, and then plays at Tennessee. So
good luck.
I don't think the playoffs are happening this year, but better start working on that 7th or 8th year of eligibility.
And on that note, y'all, y'all already know what it is, man. It's straight up Tennessee, baby. We'll see y'all live on Sunday.